Do you still have people in the business that come from quite a wide range of backgrounds outside of just kind of surveying and development?
Yeah, we do. We still have quite a lot of architects and engineers, definitely within our development team. In our asset management team, I'd say perhaps quite a lot of those are more from a kind of surveying background. But I think what is common is not necessarily what training or qualifications people have got, but their kind of curiosity and kind of willing to try things a bit differently and do different things. I think the other thing is that we have quite a number of other specialist teams within our business. So we have an incredible marketing and comms team who oversee, all of our events, wayfinding, public art, culture, kind of activation, all those work streams, which we know we're so well known for at King's Cross. We have, digital Proptech expertise in the business, as well as obviously, ESG and other things like that. So we do really have quite a wide range of people in the business, not all of whom have come through a traditional real estate route. And actually that's where they come with like slightly different ideas, not in terms of like creativity, but actually in terms of like process and delivery as well.
Have you seen a shift in the last few years in terms of the types of teams that you're having to build to keep ahead of the curve? You touched on kind of like innovation and Proptech, but also like marketing, activation, space, branding, all of that. Are they kind of new teams that you've had to kind of build to make sure you're ahead of the competition, or you're able to kind of attract and retain tenants and customers and occupiers and footfall as well?
I think build, yes. I think what is interesting, it comes back to that mindset, is that I think a lot of, even when Argent was quite a small business, the individuals who were in it still were passionate and led on a lot of those things. It's just now those teams are bigger, and as a result of making them bigger, we're bringing in people who have their own genuine experience and expertise to come in and do them. I think what is interesting is that on projects of these scales, you're not just a developer or an owner-operator. A lot of what you do, rebuilding schools, providing healthcare, providing, infrastructure and all these other things, it kind of starts to stray into the realm of like civic kind of duties and civic infrastructure. And the expectation on us is so much larger than being a landlord. And I think that goes into skill set and approach as well. I joke a bit sometimes with the asset management team that, they're not just looking at like rent reviews or, upgrades to the assets. And, they're sometimes being asked to be like almost like dating sims, like matchmaking, where our occupiers are asking to be connected with other occupiers or with the schools or, other things. The requirement and expectation on our team is getting broader. And I think therefore that sort of flexible, open, curious mindset is really important. We don't have a transactional relationship with any of our partners or occupiers.
It's paying it forward and taking a very long-term view in terms of curating the space and connectivity and making it a really special place to be. Property is a people business, hence the name People Property Place. Business has been tough the last couple of years. Get the people aspect wrong, business becomes impossible. Get the people aspect right, it's still hard, but it's manageable, much more enjoyable, and you're much more likely to hit your goals. So if you're looking to add top talent to your team in 2025 and you're open-minded to an alternative approach and you're keen to make business a little less hard, drop me a DM. I'd love to have a conversation with you to see how Rockborn could potentially help you with your human capital requirements. Right, let's get back to the podcast. For someone who's listening to this, who's maybe earlier on in their career, who looks at how you've done what you've done, what advice would you give to someone who wants to kind of progress rapidly up the chain and kind of get to a senior leadership position, but isn't quite sure on how to do that right now?
I'm quite a firm believer in trying to be a generalist. I think there's been many occasions where I encouraged, and even stronger than encouraged, to try and define who I am, what I do, and what I'm good at. And actually, I've really tried to avoid that. I've tried to be like an amorphous blob that sort of moves around and follows gaps and opportunities. So I'd encourage people, if they're not quite sure where they want to go or how to take things forward, just to try and stay as general as possible and get generalist skills and experience that can be applied, rather than heading down a hugely technical route. I think the other thing as well is I think it's really important to try and identify those gaps and opportunities yourself, and try and vocalize them, try and explain what they are, and try and articulate how you can contribute. I'll be honest, I have quite a few conversations with junior people in our business where they say to me, you need to tell me what my career route is in this organization. You need to lay it out for me. You need to give it to me on a plate, and then I'll go do it. And actually in organizations, it is a real challenge to do that, especially when the business is constantly having to evolve itself. In the industry that we work, everything's always changing. And it's not possible for organizations to always set out that very linear career route. I think the reason I've been able to get where I've got to is partly timing and circumstance, but it's also because I have found myself the route and found the gaps. I haven't waited for the organisation to tell me what the opportunity is, because if I'd have waited, I'd probably still be, project managing single plots, because I've made it happen.
It's come to me with solutions, not just problems. Yeah. And put a business case or a plan together in terms of how you're going to fix something. Yeah,
and volunteer and put your hand up
and then
stuff.
And then go and execute and be bloody good at executing and making stuff happen.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you'll be able to touch on lots of different points and get a good picture of what you're good at, maybe what you're not so good at, and then kind of find a way and become, I guess, invaluable, right? Yeah. In terms of making your boss or your boss's boss look good. And so you're such a key resource for that business. They're going to keep you and keep throwing challenges and other opportunity for you to run at. I
think the other thing as well, which I advocate a lot in our business, is about transparency of and self-awareness, because I think it's really important to constantly be giving people opportunities, but you need to know that they understand their limits and that they're willing to put up their hand and ask for help. Especially in, if you're giving people really meaningful responsibility on these projects where huge sums of money are involved. So I definitely know that the people that grow quickly in our organizations, the people that throw themselves into stuff, but at the same time are very quick to say, I need help here. And that is not a sign of weakness. For me, that is absolutely a sign of strength. And then we put that help in around them, and then they thrive. So people that try to do everything on their own and be able to say at the end of it, I did all that on my own, that for me, that is not, that's not success.
Hey, quick one from me. If you enjoyed this conversation, do me a favor and share it with a friend or colleague that you think would get value from this conversation. It would mean the world and help grow the People Property Place podcast. Thank you so much.